This is Colorful Radio. Our music, our news, our views.
So that was Guapele featuring Pep Love, and it was called Ease Your Mind. And I'm now in the studio joined by Christine Burgess, who is a mindfulness practitioner. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Lisa.
How are you feeling?
Great.
Do you know what? Firstly, I need to just say happy birthday and thank you very much for joining me today on your day.
My honour, my pleasure.
I'm going to start with asking you a question I ask every guest, which is, what or who do you appreciate today?
I got to give it to my folks, my parents, my family. It's my birthday. And, you know, from the divine coming through to those who gave birth to me, I give thanks.
Oh, that is so lovely.
Yeah.
Are you going to be sharing your birthday with them a bit later on today?
I will indeed.
Oh, well, I hope you have a lovely day. So, we're talking about mindfulness. And mindfulness appears to be the buzzword now. However, you have been practicing and teaching since 1985. How did you come across mindfulness, and what is your definition of this?
My practice preceded my teaching it. However, teaching it is still a practice because you're actually learning on the job, having to manage your reactions, how people relate to and understand or misunderstand the practice, and just being present and focused on what am I here for, how best can I serve. That's a constant. I came to it through, I would say, you know, if it's not too far out, divine guidance. I went to a simple job agency on a high street after traveling, got a job somewhere, and my boss meditated.
Right.
So in the course of getting to know my new employer, you know, I asked so many questions about meditation, and there comes a point where you can't ask anymore. You just got to learn and do it. So I got into the practice, and I went from, actually it was transcendental meditation initially, and then progressively found myself on a 10-day Vipassana insight meditation course. And as they say, it's not so much the rest is history as the rest is the future. And here we are.
So what was it about the meditation, about the mindfulness that really struck a chord with you?
My previous practice involved a mantra of like a seed word thought that you dropped into the practice. The mindfulness practice actually didn't include or use any mediating mantra. So what I found is that I was just using my body, my breath, every living moment, what's going on within and around me, that's what I'm being mindful of. And so I realized that, you know, whereas it used to be back in the day, church on Sunday and then riot for the rest of the week, this just seemed to me more in keeping with what my heart longed for, something that was just integral to my whole way of life. I'm not saying that any other practice wouldn't be, but at that time, it just struck me that this was infinitely more challenging, but it took me to depths and clarities and insights that I don't think would have shown up as I would have been, you know, before I took this particular path.
Gosh, that's so interesting. I've noticed doing research on mindfulness that meditation and mindfulness is sometimes interlinked, but is there a difference?
You could say mindfulness is like the whole rainbow or the whole treasure chest. And so you're learning to understand, you know, what does life consist of? And meditation is focusing in on one aspect so intensely that actually you get to know. It's a bit like awakening to the deepest sense of yourself and nature. So one is a bit more broad spectrum, and one is just so what's innate and coming to life from the inside out. And, you know, a still mind has access to its own depths and clarity. So when you take yourself away from the buzz and the busyness and just sit in meditation, that's you giving prime time to knowing this being, this body, who is this in the world? Yeah, from the inside out. Because often, we get caught in the bling, bling, bling and what's happening out there, the buzz, to actually know, who am I in all of this? What do I bring to life? And what impacts me? And how best do I live in this world and reach and fulfill my highest potential then? That's a lifetime work.
It's a journey,
yeah, exactly. So, I just think any time that we do that, it's not like we have to go into seclusion, but it's just honoring that we can't be on the doing treadmill the whole time. We're human beings. We're spiritual beings. Yeah. We're not just human doings, but often and more so, we're getting connectivity outwards, but actually there can be a bigger disconnect between self and other people. Yeah?
It's really interesting because research is also saying that is the case at the moment. Even with the simple eye contact, they're actually seeing in young people that they're not able to go to interviews and have eye contact with the interviewer because their heads used to being down and on the phone. So it's a really interesting point you've just made there. So thank you.
This is Colorful Radio. Our music, our news, our views.
You've just joined us. I am joined by Christine Burgess, who's a personal and corporate wellbeing facilitator who uses the practice of mindfulness. And mindfulness is the topic today on Self Central with me, Lisa Bent. Now, the next question I have for you, Christine, is what are the benefits of practicing mindfulness and what is your personal experience in regards to your own health and well-being?
So the benefits of practicing mindfulness are to know the human condition and our potential, innate, what impacts us and how, you could say, what's arising and how we are as a system, because we are a self, but you could say a personality is various aspects of self and selfing senses. So we want to know and really look into and work on the soil of our own being. So the benefits really allow you to get in touch with the human condition, the human that you are, and then that gives you greater sense of self, not just your little walkabout on the earth self, but you could say if there is a spiritual self and empathy with others, because suffering now is in there somewhere. You get triggered by stuff, and you can also then be less reactive because you'll see yourself reflected and mirrored in others.
Gosh, yeah. And as you was also talking, I was thinking, okay, today's question is, do you like yourself? How do you see yourself? And are you happy with your life? And you had a different take on that, didn't you? What was your sort of rephrase or paraphrasing of that question?
Well, at any moment we could pause and ask ourselves, just say, how can I love today? How can I love today? And that could just open up possibilities for you to see, okay, I could stop beating myself up about something. I could allow myself to walk out in the sunshine or sit and eat lunch rather than whatever busy stuff I might otherwise do. I could give someone a call and let them know I care. I could water my plants. I could just sit and listen to birdsong. I could actually start to acknowledge, wow, all that I can be grateful for. I can just see the beauty in someone or something else. So it's just to really open up the heart. And mindfulness can be translated as presence of heart.
Right, presence of heart. Because I know you go into a lot of corporations. Do you think that corporations and business needs to change to incorporate more presence of heart? And then we might be more fully functioning human beings.
Corporations are beginning to recognize that, and it's interesting that some of the biggest corporations, the Apple, the Googles of the world, they have taken a lead by having mindfulness practice available for their staff.
Wow.
And there are many companies in between. The NHS is taking it up, mostly to give out, but a lot of people who work within healthcare have actually seen the benefits for themselves as service providers. So it's a bit like physician or doctor, you heal yourself and then you'll do less harm and more good.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you can actually call mindfulness almost like a complementary therapy or a holistic therapy, and usually establishments and institutions like the workplace and the NHS aren't really keen on holistic therapies, but I'm really surprised with how mindfulness has taken off.
Well, I think because it's come in as a head thing, even more than
a good point.
More than a heart thing. You know what? Everyone wants to get their head together, get their act together, focus, be more effective, efficient. Yeah. So it's coming in as almost like a top through practice. But you know what? It's going to reach your heart eventually, because compassion, self-care comes with it. You cannot be milking and driving your workforce to distraction just to get the production line, that end of things. And then what? What's the fallout rate? There's going to be illness, stress, stuff that you're going to have to mop up. Why not nourish and cultivate strengths and life-enhancing qualities in your staff? And actually, then they're going to serve whoever they're serving in the world, so much better.
You have just hit the nail on the head.
Colorful radio.
So that was India Ari with Little Things, and it is about the little things. It's the little things that we can do to help our general health and well-being. So Christine, what simple exercises can people do every day?
Pause and just be aware, I am here. What's happening right here, right now, where I am? Because it could be that you're aware that your shoulders are up near your ears and you're really tense and churning, and you can just go, okay, I don't need to hold all of that tension. So in the pausing, it will just allow you to tune into the body. Equally, you could just know that you're breathing, so just tell yourself, okay, let's just feel a breath. And ride the waves of the breath. Feel the breath releasing, flowing out, and you're receiving. Not much else would be happening in your life if you weren't breathing. So, just every now and then tuning into just the gift, the power, what a breath symbolizes. It's like you're alive. No matter what's going on, what's really getting you down or what's not happening right now, the essential thing is you're breathing, you are here, and hopefully resourceful enough then to be able to take care of what needs taken care of. If you didn't have that breath, that body, those functions, then you probably wouldn't be worrying about what's troubling you anyway. Coming to the breath every now and then, and just tuning into the breath allows you to really go full spectrum, in that it can just remind you of what's important and get some perspective. You could feel the body. So home in on your feet. If you're on a chair, your seat, spine lengthening, your carriage, and just that sense of grounding into the body. So you could be grounding into the breath, grounding into the body, feeling your hands resting on the keyboard or on the steering wheel if you're in the car, Now, you don't want to be closing your eyes when you're driving or using heavy machinery, but, you could just sense, God, have I got an almighty grip on this steering wheel, or, on my computer mouse or whatever, if you still use a mouse. And, it's just those little things that can allow you to let go of some stress and tension that in the course of the day, you just drop those little stresses out of your system. Right. So you're refreshing yourself as you go, then getting up in the morning like elastic band, stretching yourself from sun up till sundown. Those put little breaks on. The
little pause button.
Yeah, throughout the day. So that you can just retake stock, and also, this is restorative. And then, something else you can do is just experience whatever is here. So it could be the elements. On a previous show of yours, Lisa, I heard someone saying, when it's raining, sometimes just to feel that moisture on your skin. Or now that we're coming into summertime, it's to feel the touch of warmth, touch of air, a gentle breeze in the morning or evening. Or if you're eating your lunch, savor each mouthful. You've chosen to eat something, and it's possible that you've just munched it so fast that it's finished, and you don't even recognize, you finished, but more to the point, what did I just eat? Every day could be the same sandwich because you're just not present to what am I eating? So you're not really getting nourished through all the senses. There's the visual, there's the tactile, there is maybe the taste, the touch, the smell, everything. All of that is what nourishes you, not just the food in your mouth and your digestion of it. In fact, if you can think that you put a picture near your work desk, a picture that nourishes you, it might be of a waterfall or, a flower or family members, and just that sense of you feel the feel-good feelings whenever you look at that picture. So there are just little things from pausing to just really being present to connecting both inwards and out with a sense of gratitude for what's here to be had and enjoyed in this moment.
Wow. But it's so simple. It's things that we can all do. So, even if you are driving, you can do it. Even if you just sit on a bus, you can actually do it. And there's little things that we can just incorporate. Yeah,
you're in a queue. Rather than busting your vessels about how slow the queue's moving, whether you're driving or standing, you know what? You just feel your feet on the ground or your bum on the seat if you're sitting, and you just come to the breath. A few breaths. I like to call it pace. Just pace yourself. P is for pause. A, awareness of what's happening as it is. So I'm angsting about how slow this queue's or traffic's going. So A is awareness and acceptance. This is what's happening. Connecting with the breath. Centering into the body. And a few breaths, moment to moment, you'll find you're embodying calmness, a sense of ease. Now, whether the line is moving or not, or how fast or slow, you can't control that.
No.
But you've got full control over your own state and sense of presence, well-being, happiness. So go for it.
Gosh, really good tips there.
It's in your hands. And it's actually, you could say, it's in your being.
No, really good tips there. What is your favourite quote and why?
I think for the purpose of what we're saying, I'll come to my coaching tutor, Thomas Leonard, who was the founder of Coach U. Thomas would say, get a fulfilling life, not just an impressive lifestyle. And some of our approach to life is really just so on, I need to get this done, that done. And it's possible that we would miss out a sense of fulfillment even when we so-called have it all or got it all done.
Yeah.
So I hope, and this is something that I'm taking more to heart for myself, and as I've come of another age today, just to say, well, actually, what's important, a fulfilling life, and how best I can have my life be fulfilling in terms of my relationships and whatever I have to share, connectedness, and not just the outward appearances of an impressive lifestyle, whatever that might be, or this is a great company, look at whatever their list of attributes are. Actually, we want to have people who just feel happy to work for that organization because they are fulfilling their potential under the auspices of whatever the company produces.
Really interesting. I could actually sit and talk to you all day because your voice, Christine, is so calming. It is so calming. I'm just mesmerized. And your voice makes me a lot calmer. So if you was to sell mindfulness in that way, you'd do really well.
Well, I do have an app if you want to take a little piece of me away with you.
Love it.
The app is Mindfulness, and you'll get it through the Apple and the Android
Play Store.
Yeah.
Have a lovely birthday.